Shalom Yasharallah. First and foremost, I want to say all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the house of David. Salutations to you brothers throughout the four corners of the earth. Teaching the truth in righteousness and sincerity. To you Israelite foreigners, come back home to the truth. To those that passed on serving the Lord, the dead in Yahweh Shai shall arise first. To you sisters out there that believe, keep supporting your brothers, your husbands, cousins, nephews, grandsons, sons that are out here pushing his truth. And always remember the sister who washed Yahweh Shai feet. Always keep her in remembrance. I wanted to read a scripture. And, you know, before this gets misconstrued, I want to say that the motivation for this video is what Shannon Sharpe is going through. So it's not related to any Israelite matters that are in discussion right now. But anytime that any scandal breaks out, especially for black and brown people, I see comment boards full of people that have already made judgments. And as time goes on, you know what I'm saying, like more facts come out. And then a lot of those same people get quiet or then start singing a different tune, or, you know, and I realize people judge not based on facts and evidence. People judge based on who they like and dislike. I'm going to be the first to tell you, I can't stand Shannon Sharpe. However, me not liking Shannon Sharpe doesn't mean that I think he's guilty. In fact, so far, I believe he was set up. I believe him, and I don't even like him, you know, but that's rare among our people, because our people just be like, oh, I like him, so he can't do no wrong, or I dislike him, so everything that people say he did wrong, we gonna believe. And the scriptures are very clear against that spirit, right? Ecclesiasticus 11:7, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Why don't you try getting the facts about the situation? You know, because even this lawyer's track record is sketchy. Doesn't mean that Shannon Sharpe is innocent just because the lawyer is known to go after black men and try to trump up, you know, because he did that with Jay-Z. It says, before thou hast examined the truth, understand first, then rebuke. Before you hand out a judgment, or before you try to judge somebody or disrespect somebody or do videos, try to understand the situation first. Answer not before thou hast heard the cause. Don't jump to judgment. Motherfuckers jump to, especially Israel. When you go on the comment boards of any Israelite scandal, you already got 100,000 motherfuckers with opinions that don't even know what went on. What's the truth? You just believe the first person that speaks against the person you hate, or you automatically don't believe the person because you don't like the person that they're talking about. Neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk. Let somebody talk. They're either proving their case or giving themselves enough rope to hang themselves with. It says, strive not in a matter that concern thee not. See, sometimes, like with the Shannon Sharpe situation, I don't give a flying fuck whether he's guilty or innocent. So I'm not gonna actively go look for shit. Now, if something come across my feed and I feel like wasting a couple minutes listening, I will. But for the most part, I don't care enough. I'm not going looking for information about Shannon Sharpe, because it's not like I'm gonna be sitting at the fucking as part of the jury. You know, yeah, of course it's curious as to whether he's, but I'm not that invested in Shannon Sharpe to begin with to even pursue any details about his case. I don't care. And sit not in judgment with sinners. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory, but if I need to explain it, You know, you got a lot of times where you got people sitting around that are just as guilty of something as Shannon Sharpe that are gonna talk. Oh yeah, that nigga did this, that nigga did that. But then you over here, and then you might get caught up in it. You might be caught up in a shit talking session as opposed to something spiritual. So instead of getting the real lesson out of this Shannon Sharpe shit, what you're doing is, you know, you're gossiping. Because you go off into gossip when you do shit like that. You sit around a bunch of brothers and you talk about a brother. You know, I always tell brothers, man, if you got a problem with anybody, man, talk to them. Talk to them, because it's better than 10 brothers sitting around in a living room making videos about one person. Sit not in judgment with sinners. You know, you got other people that do wrong or done wrong, but you're sitting here among them talking about that person. And you don't realize the joke's on you because you're the one that's sitting here doing, you know what I'm saying, all this judgment and talking shit about a person, a brother, a sister, and you don't even know all the facts, but you're sitting with the people, you know, with people talking bad about them. So then you follow a multitude to do evil. And yeah, is it evil as far as sin? No, but it's gossip. Scriptures tell you also not to gossip, not to be a talebearer. We got too much of that going on in Israel, man. That's why I don't care. When the next Israelite celebrity gets outed for something, I don't care. I don't care. You know, I'm sitting here trying to fight and do what I have to do for my salvation, try to change the way I move or the way I see things and the way I do things. And I have too much work to do on me to sit here and worry about the next man. That's just what it is, man. It's too much going on in the world for me to worry about, you know what I'm saying, gossip. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie. You know, gossip be intriguing the hell out of a nigga. But that's the problem. A lot of times the things that we like and the things that intrigue us are going to lead us into temptation and lead us into, get us out of the possibility of a salvation. And how does it get us out of the possibility of a salvation? Because a lot of times chasing the things you like and love can lead you into sinning and doing wrong things. Because none of us know whether or not we're the elect. You know, I don't know whether or not I'm the elect. I'm not going to sit here and purposely sin, you know, because who knows? You know, you got a lot of men out here that left the truth. Literally, that was one of the first fallouts that I saw. This dude, to this day, he dibbles and dabbles in Israel politics. But he's also a Trump supporter. I don't get that shit. But, you know, you just got too much of that. You know, Israel loves controversy. Israel loves adding on. You know, a lot of times you got to look at the way we do things and the way a lot of men in this truth gossip like women, man, honestly. You know, and with this, going back to the point of this video or what inspired this video, that Shannon Sharpe shit, you got people that are really like, oh, no means no, Shannon, and all that. You know, that's bitch shit. You know, men analyze. Men say, you know what? She did say this, or this lawyer does do that. You know, analyze. And I'm going to be honest with you. Going back to strive not in a matter that concern thee not, it doesn't matter to me. I don't give a fuck whether he guilty, you know, whether he really did it or didn't do it. What am I going to do? Punish him? Yeah, I'm going to punish Shannon Sharpe in the court of my living room, and I'm going to sentence him to what? You know what I mean? Like, That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of y'all, the only thing you're gonna do is talk about somebody if they're guilty. That's not a fucking punishment. So if you can't punish nobody, then why the hell does it matter to you that much whether if somebody's guilty or innocent of something? You don't have a penalty for them. Whatever you have to say about them is inconsequential. And I'm telling y'all this because the truth of the matter is we invest way too much time in that. We invest way too much time in worrying about people that are their entire lives don't matter to us. But because it's juicy gossip, it gives you something to talk about. You know, that's where I'm going with it. You know, if you don't have a consequence, or if you don't have, you know, Shannon Sharpe is not in the Israelite community, and I would like to think every Hebrew Israelite sister would think twice before trying to deal with a man like that. Our very training, the way we train ourselves and our women, you would think that none of our sisters would ever be in a position where Shannon Sharpe can harm them. So as an example, that's why, you know, we don't talk about shit like that. Like, again, his guilt or innocence is beyond me. I don't know. He might have did exactly what he was. I personally don't believe he did it, because he's just a horny nigga. That's all he is. He's really just a horny nigga. He's not nothing, you know, but he's not, I don't see him as a nigga who would harm, you know. You got horny niggas that have boundaries. That's another thing too, but that's a whole nother video. You can be horny and have boundaries, right? You know what I'm saying? You don't have to cater to every single thing that comes to your mind, or whatever you're being asked to do by your partner. You know, especially if that shit is weird. You know, but that's it on that. You know, I just wanted to tell Israel, you know, cool it on the prejudgment, get facts and then judge. Because even if you're prejudgment, a lot of times prejudice is weird, because sometimes prejudice is correct. Sometimes you prejudge a situation before you should, and then the facts support that you were right the whole time. So it makes you think, hey, you know what? I got a knack for this. But a lot of times you don't. You just hit one time, or you might hit once in a while, or sometimes things are what they seem. Most times I think they are. A lot of times things are just what they seem, and you just caught what it looked like, and you just said what you said. You know, and that still does not mean that you shouldn't get the facts on something before you judge it. That just means you was lucky. Because there's going to come that time where things aren't what they seem, and you're going to be dead fucking wrong. You know, but with that, I'm going to say shalom, and, you know, on to the next one.